Welcome to high school football on Fox College Sports, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the annual Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. We're in South Carolina. It's supposed to be a little bit warmer than this. It's cold. Temperatures in the 30s, and some of the best collection of talent, the high school level, is on display tonight. The East All-Stars against the West All-Stars. Artie Gigantino, Scott Kennedy, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to high school football. Artie, of course, you're a part of OD, and tell us a little bit about what this week has been about and just how good the talent is.
Well, the talent has been outstanding, and you'll talk about that in a second when you see where these guys are going to school. But the talent was also outstanding on the coaching staff. This week, the 14 coaches that coached these teams, 225 years of National Football League coaching experience. Outstanding group of players, but more outstanding in the coaching area also.
How about right now? Give us some of the biggest names that you're watching tonight.
Well, I tell you, it starts off on the east side, and the quarterback, Andrew Hendricks, kid out of Moeller High School in Cincinnati, he's going to Notre Dame. He's one of the Irishman's top recruits. You'll see him throw the ball around tonight and throw it very well and throw it very often. He's a guy that's got some mobility to him, but his strength is throwing the football up the field. Now, on the other side of the ball is a guy by the name of Lyndon Trail. He's going to the University of Florida. 19 sacks this year, 3 interceptions, 2 for touchdowns. He can play outside linebacker, or he can play defensive end for the Gators. This guy is an exciting player that can really, really get up the field. It's amazing how graceful he is for a guy that's almost 6'6", and he's a fun guy to be around. Nice young man. On the other side, the West, Peter Thomas. Big 6'5" quarterback out of San Diego, decommitted earlier in the month from Arizona State. He's now going to the pass-happy Mountain West and going to play for Colorado State. Again, very intelligent young man, 4.0 student, really understands how to read defenses and get the ball where it's supposed to be. The other quarterback is Case McCoy, headed to the University of Texas. His brother is Colt McCoy, who will be playing later on this week for a national championship. Again, a very heady football player that has done wonderful things in his 4-year career. Here's a guy that not only is as good as his brother, he might even be better.
That's saying something right there, a guy that, of course, had a chance to win the Heisman. Meanwhile, Scott, you work at Scout.com. You're evaluating talent, and you take a look at this roster. It's spread up and down the country as far as some of the major names and major universities represented in football.
Well, for college football fans and recruitniks, what makes this game so much fun is the great job they've done with balance across the entire country. If you look at where these players are going, it's a good balance between West Coast, North, East Coast, South. The ACC well represented with 13. If you're looking for specific teams, watch for Oklahoma. They've got 8 players in this game, including 4 offensive linemen that will be blocking for future Texan Case McCoy.
All right, should be a lot of fun. The annual Offense-Defense All-American Bowl for Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's our starting lineups and our opening kick, the frigid Myrtle Beach, when we come back on Fox College Sports.
Yeah, this is Artie. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Scott, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Got it from?
Yeah.
Kenny Stills out of California back. Yeah. College Coaches Network, real recruiting, real results, and then we send it down to Sam. Be warm down there, Sam. Come on.
Where's our hat?
It's nice and warm down there.
Where's our hat?
Whew.
Two future Oklahomans returning kicks.
To 4 and 7. The 2010 Offense Defense All-American Bowl is brought to you by the College Coaches Network. Real recruiting, real results. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Glad you're with us tonight on Fox College Sports. We'll hear from Sam Steele, the fourth member of our crew, momentarily. And maybe the biggest round of applause as the kids were introduced, went to the kicker, just kicked it away. Hometown favorite here from South Carolina, and that's Jordan Butler. A couple of Sooners back deep to receive, and that's taken by Joe Powell, 170 pounds out of Dallas, Texas. And the West will have it 1st and 10. As you mentioned, Scott, you're going to see a lot of Oklahoma kids tonight.
There were 2 of them back there to return the kick, and it went to Joseph Powell. And 2 of the more animated guys we've had out here this week. 2 of the more flamboyant personalities between Joseph Powell and Kenny Stills. Good competition between the 2, even his teammates.
And we've mentioned before we came on the air, the fact that we expect this game to be dominated with the quarterbacks. And there's a look at Terrence Broadway. He is out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Outstanding talent, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's going to go to Houston. Houston can really throw the ball, but they also run that spread offense. He's a perfect fit for the University of Houston. He's one of the most talented kids on this field.
Out of Capital Senior High, and they'll hand it off. And this is Brennan Clay to the outside. He's picked up the first down, avoids a tackle, and brought down inside East Territory, and a pickup of 32 on that play.
Dan, guess where he's going to school?
He's another Oklahoma guy. Now, this is like a little draw. The offense coached by Tom Walsh, ex-Oakland Raider, offensive coordinator. 2 Super Bowl rings on him. They did a really good job of getting these kids all on the same page this week, both coaching staffs.
So big play there by Brennan Clay. And they'll have it 1st and 10 after that 35-yard pickup. They'll work out of the shotgun here. Little play action that time and a draw. This is one of the bigger bodies that you'll see in that backfield. That's Chris Young, 6'1", 220-pounder out of Auburn Senior High. And he is a good one, as the coaching staff told us. And who stands out for you guys as we look at our starting lineups for the folks here at home?
I'll tell you, I like Alex Smith, the big old tight end. He's going to University of North Carolina. He's a very good football player, a physical football player with everything ahead of him. In the offensive line, I love Tyrus Thompson. Big offensive tackle heading to Oklahoma. He's a man at a boy's age. I'm telling you, he is a big, good-looking stud.
It's 2nd down and 10. And Broadway looks to throw. A little protection. Dumps it out of the backfield. And keeping his feet. His 2nd touch of the day is Chris Young. Again, the big kid from Auburn. And let's meet the defense here for the team in white and blue, and that's the West. And Scott, give us a big name that you're looking at as well.
Well, it's hard to pick just one guy off of this line, but defensive end TJ Stripling had 22 sacks for his Southwest DeKalb team, which is a hotbed for talent in the Atlanta area, going to University of Georgia. High motor, high talent, reminds me a lot of Jermaine Cunningham, who started at the University of Florida.
This will be 3rd down and 2. And again, working from the shotgun, it'll be Terrence Broadway. Broadway will hand it off. They'll be very close to that 1st down marker. That's Kevin Parks, one of the shortest players on this roster at 5'7".
Yeah, he's short, but he's got big numbers, believe me. He's the guy that was Mr. North Carolina, Mr. Football North Carolina this year. He's heading to the University of Virginia. He is 3rd all-time in the history of the United States in rushing. All time, not just in the state of North Carolina. He's 5'7", 190. He's really compact, but I tell you, this guy is something special. But he has already committed to Virginia.
And you get a feeling that with the way things have gone with Virginia, Scott, that he'll get a chance to play next year possibly. Out of the shotgun, and an incomplete pass. Artie, let's go over some of the rules here too. For folks that are tuned in, this is not a normal high school or college football game per se, just because some of the rules are different.
Well, there's no blitzing on defense. That's number 1. There's no stunning and no shifting. We decided as a coaching staff and as an organization, we wanted these guys to play and to play clean. The offense is limited to 1 trick play only, and every formation has to be 2 receivers on one side or 1 receiver. There's no such thing in this game as a triple trips formation or an empty set where there's nobody in the backfield.
On 2nd and 10, they hand it off to Brennan Clay. A little misdirection, and he'll pick up another first down. And this red team of the West is moving the football here in their first possession of the ball game.
You know, you keep saying West, and I want to explain to the folks at home that we took this offense and the defense and split it randomly. That's why you see some of the Oklahoma guys playing on the West team. Now here's Clay getting that little, you know, draw up the middle. Nice job of running it up the field. Nice job of just delivering it forward to a defender.
So it'll be 1st and 10 with the ball on the 15. The West is driving here, their first possession.
Shotgun is allowed. The quarterback does not always have to be underneath the center. In fact, most of these kids prefer the shotgun.
Deflected up front, and I believe that was Stripling up front that got a piece of it.
Yeah, they didn't bother putting a body on him, and he's hard enough to stop if you're blocking him, let alone letting him come free like that. And that big 6'5" frame of his stretched out and deflected the pass. That's
Tom Walsh there, the offensive coordinator at the Raiders for a long time. He is the West head football coach for us tonight. Ron Hudson is the head football coach on the other side for these. But that's Tom Walsh. Very, very smart man. Very intellectual in terms of his approach to offensive football.
2nd and 10. They'll stay on the ground here. Inside the 10, lowering his shoulder. There he is again, Kevin Parks. And you just look at his base, guys, and he's at 5'7", but just look at the thighs and look at the legs.
Parks on a little handoff underneath, but he does an excellent job, though, of running away from defenders. Again, the college coach is going to tell him, you know, you're not supposed to come down when one guy takes a shot and doesn't wrap up. But you can see how small he is there in terms of, you know, relative to the offensive line. He's a hard guy to see if you're a defender.
This will be 3rd and 3 with the ball on the 8. Broadway again out of the shotgun, and he'll keep it himself this time. Inside the 5, diving towards the pylon, and they're going to say he's in. That's a touchdown. A late call, but the right call looks like, fellas, and there he is, the quarterback getting the first touch and a touchdown of the game. That's Terrence Broadway.
Here it is. That's a nice job by Broadway of faking up inside, but then getting to the corner and just delivering a blow to the defender that time. That's a nice run. That's a tough guy running the football there. Guys at Houston, University of Houston coaches are going to like what they see when they watch this game tape of this guy and some of the tapes from the week of practice.
That's one of the matchups I'm interested to watch as the game goes on. With the size and the secondary, there's a lot of speed in the backfield for the East, but they're not very big. Desmond Brown played a lot of corner. Darius Robinson's a track guy who's had a great week, but not very big. Broadway, bigger than both of those, was able to go through the 2 Clemson commitments playing defensive back.
Denver Otteson on for the extra point, and it's good. So the West, methodical drive, their opening drive. Just under 5 minutes, and they take an early lead. It's 7-0, the offense-defense bowl from Myrtle Beach.
Thank our presenting sponsor, the College Coaches Network. It is the offense defense's best friend. Supporting sponsor, Best Buy Game Room. If you want to keep your players happy, go to Best Buy Game Room. Badger Sports, look like the OD All-American. Gatorade, can't play football without it. ESPN Radio, #1 sports network in America. The U.S. Marine, the View, the Proud.
Sam, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, Sam.
Oh, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we back?
Go ahead, Sam, we're on.
Oh, we're on. Hi. How's it going? I'm here with Lyndon Trail, who's the DN, who's now... Okay. Really?
We're not on, Sam. I'm sorry.
Give me 1 second.
That wasn't funny.
I thought she knew.
You're a pro. You can't be doing that, man. I'm freezing. I'm not thinking, okay?
I hear you.
Thank you for what you do.
fourth member of our crew is downstairs, Sam Steele, with a special guest. Sam.
Yeah, I'm here with Lyndon Trail, who's committed to the University of Florida. Now, a lot's gone on with Florida in this last couple of weeks, hearing about Urban Meyer stepping aside and then coming back. Has it changed your decision at all?
I wouldn't say so. You know, Urban Meyer's a great guy and whatnot. And just the fact that, you know, he wants to take a leave of absence just to get his health back, I don't think that's a problem with me. You know, we've talked numerous times, and he says he's coming back, so I take his word for it.
Do you feel like you can contribute immediately to that program? Obviously, you saw him last night blow out Cincinnati. Do you feel like you can step in and play right away?
As much as talking immediately, I kind of question myself because of my weight or whatnot. I know I got to hit the weight room really hard and just work hard once I get there. So I'm still questioning whether I'm going to, you know, have an immediate impact or whatnot.
In a game like this, what are you hoping to show people that you can do out here?
What I do best, my speed.
How are you going to be able to do that if you're so cold, man? You've been over here complaining all game.
I don't know, man. I mean,
well, you got to get in the game, man. You got to go show us something, all right?
No, I don't have to get in the game right now. It's offense.
Oh, you just said you're in the game. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I think we're good. All right, so try and stay warm. In college, they will warm the seats, just so you know.
Can I give a couple of shout-outs to my people back home? First shout-out is to my mother, my loving mother, Dorothea Williams, who's back home in Miami. To all my Swampers who support me, for all my coaches who got me here, and, you know, my wife, Kiera Trail, K-Y-E-R-A. I love you, Max.
All right, a very grateful guy. We'll send it back up to you guys.
All right, Sam, thanks. And you just saw the numbers for Hendricks. And this is the young man that we talked about in the open, Andrew Hendricks. Big kid, 6'3", 220 pounds, Archbishop Moeller High School, which is a factory, it has been at times, out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And he is under center. He wants to throw. Pocket collapsing on him. Now he'll just tuck it and run. Artie, how good was this kid this week?
You know, he was good, but, you know, let me just tell you something about the quarterbacks. I was most impressed by all of them because at the beginning they came in and were a little bit lost, but then they grasped the system that was being put in, and I'll bet right now they know the system. The coaches were a little bit restricted in terms of how much they wanted to give him. As we take a look at Ron Hudson, ex-offensive coordinator at Notre Dame, Ohio State, Kentucky, Kansas State, UCLA, just to name a few. Ron is the quarterback coach. He's also the head coach of our East team. He did an excellent job this week with these quarterbacks.
And with Hendricks, where did it come down to for him? Where did you see the schools that he was going to go to?
Well, once Notre Dame offered, it was all Notre Dame. You know, they ended up being their biggest offer, and he didn't hesitate to take that one. I think Notre Dame was after some other quarterbacks early, like Nick Montana and Austin Hinder. Hinder went to Cal, and Montana's committed to Washington. But I actually think that Hendricks is the better quarterback. So I think they ended up getting the better quarterback down the road by not getting a couple of the guys they offered before him.
What have you seen as far as the firing of Charlie Weiss, and then it was just mentioned with Sam, Urban Meyer taking a leave of absence, how that has affected recruiting here in the last couple of weeks?
Well, it's tough. January used to be the busiest time of year, but now it's December with all the coaching changes. But I think it's hammered into the players' heads enough that you've got to choose a program because the coaches are going to leave. The coaches are likely, the percentages are going to be that you're not going to have the same coach when you start your career as when you finish your career. So you've got to choose the program. So maybe one or two guys will switch, but on the whole, out of a 25-man class, most of them end up sticking with the team they chose.
Let's take a look at our lineups. And Artie, who stands out for you and what you saw this past week?
Well, the guy I think is maybe the best player in this game is Adrian Coxon, number 5. He's going to Penn State, youngster out of Baltimore. This guy can catch, he can run patterns, he can get up the field. As far as the offensive line is concerned, these guys are all really good on the East, but I like Austin Shepard. I think he's done an excellent job this week, and the coaches like him. So I go by what the coaches say. The offensive line coach from the East is Jim Erkenbeck, 25 years in the National Football League. So when he tells me a guy's a good player, I take his word for it.
Second down and 10. And they'll hand the ball off. No hole there, so bounce it to the outside. Mustafa Green with that carry and close to a first down for the East.
Mustafa Green is a guy to keep your eye on. He's a tough, big back that can get up the field. Now, you take a look at the defensive line from the West. The guy that I like is number 3, Hayes Pullard, linebacker out of Crenshaw in Los Angeles. I believe he's going to go to Southern Cal. The other guy here in the secondary that I like is Ronnie Vincent, number 17, going to LSU. Big-time hitter, excellent ball skills, does a wonderful job of reading the quarterback.
So they'll mark this short of the first down mark. It'll be 3rd and about 2 with under 10 minutes to go in our first quarter of play. The offense-defense poll here on Fox College Sports from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hendricks going to pound the football, and there's a nice hit up front.
Speaking of the devil, Pollard stepped up, did a wonderful job of reading it and making the play in the backfield. This guy's got a nose for the football. He's a guy that went to our camps when he was a young man. Here he is, number 3, reads the counter play, steps up, fills the hole like a big-time linebacker, and makes the play. He's going to look good in a Trojan outfit, I think.
Except it's going to be blue and gold.
You think he's on UCLA?
I think he's going to UCLA.
I don't get that feeling from talking to him, but we'll see.
There's a lot of Crenshaw in UCLA from Brian Price and Ray Carter. I think he ends up following the Crenshaw pipeline to the Bruins.
That'll be interesting.
Hendricks picks up the first down on 4th and short. Already talk a little bit about offense, defense. You know, people tune in, they say, okay, what is offense, defense? What exactly is it?
Offense, defense is the largest football camp in the United States. It's the longest running. It's a contact camp. As we take a look at Ron Hudson. And by the way, Ron Hudson and I met, and we've been lifelong friends. We met 30 years ago at an offense-defense camp. But what it is, offense-defense has various programs. We run select camps, we run elite camps, and of course we have the All-American Bowl. But the foundation of what we do is put on camps around the country during the month of June and during the month of July.
And we've seen guys like Chris Carter and some of the biggest names in the NFL be a part of this as well over the years.
Yeah, you know, it's a who's who. Everybody from Matt Millen to Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Ronnie Lott, they've all worked at offense-defense camps throughout the years.
And that's picked off somehow. Hendricks was hit late, and he is slow to get up on that sideline. He's on his sideline of the east, and that was intercepted by the defensive end, Utopo.
Yeah, he's another guy going to Notre Dame. I tell you, he's not a real big guy, but he can really move, and he's what I call an active football player. He's all over the place, and a fun guy to be around, and he received a great honor this week. His teammates named him one of the captains.
Topo is one of those guys. It was good to see him in person because on scout we actually had him listed as a defensive tackle to begin with, and there's no way he's going to be a defensive tackle. So I think he ends up being one of those quick rush ends, or he's even big and athletic enough. He could be an outside linebacker.
Yeah, you know what though? He's like a Trail. He's got to get in the weight room a little bit more, put on about 25 or 30 pounds, which he will.
They'll stay on the ground here. Their second possession. Brennan Clay. Isn't that, though, the case, guys, with most of these kids, when you start to look at them and how they project out, especially if you're talking up front defensively, if you're going to be a tackle, I mean, you're going to have to put on weight anyway.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing in the world to do. That's why there's a lot of mistakes made sometimes.
Sure.
But you know what, Dan? I still want to see the heartbeat of the guy and the passion which he plays, and, you know, how much he likes the game. You know, is he a real football player? And then in the side, because there's a lot of people out there with some size, but that thing in the inside of your chest is what you're really looking for, the heart.
Nice little stutter step that time, the quick feet of Brennan Clay. Where did you have him ranked in scout?
Right now he's about 11 in the country at running back, and I think after this week he's got a chance to move up into the 5-star range. He's right at the edge of that right now, and a 5-star on scout means one of the top 50 players in the country. And I've said all week I think he's probably the best player in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, look at that little stutter step there. Now, you don't teach that, okay? That's something that he came to earth with, you know, so to speak. He's a guy that's got some natural talent.
So if I go to offense-defense camp, I'm not going to get the stutter step.
No, we try to teach a stutter camp, but I tell you, you should see some of these little kids that we have at the camps throughout the country, man. Some of them just are cool, and some of them are pretty doggone good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that momentarily, and there's a lot of youngsters out in this field today. Big hole on the left side, and they'll pick up the first down. Now, Artie, it's not just the kids at the high school level. You start young, don't you?
Yeah, this year we decided to bring in what we called the Youth All-Americans. And what that is, the best players, and the guys got awards from us this summer at our regular camps, like little guys like that, from ages 7 to 14. We brought them in, coached them up, and ended up playing 4 different age group all-star games this morning here at Doug Shaw. We had 242, I believe it was, youngsters and their families families in from all across the United States, and it was a lot of fun, and it was really neat to watch and say, hey, look at the impact we're having on these young kids.
Now, here's one of those guys that you're talking about, you know, not necessarily the biggest guys we've talked about, 5'7", but you know, Scott, as you're looking at how he drags a pile at 5'7", it's when it's inside your chest a little bit too.
Well, I've said all along that a very good high school player will play fine in one of these games. Some of these guys that have come from the camps, they don't have to be 3, 4, 5-star recruits. They don't have to be going to big schools. A lot of the recruiting rankings or projections for what's going to happen 4 and 5 years down the line, a great high school football player will do just fine out here with these guys. Now,
we mentioned that some of these kids are undecided. This is going across the country, so for some coaches, will this a game like this at all make a difference in some of the scouting evaluation?
I believe it will. I mean, we've had some coaches call us, I'm not going to say who, and ask us how their guys are doing or what did we think of this player, a guy that they're still considering. Because, again, it's a different set of eyes looking and evaluating these players on the field. But a guy like Clay and, you know, some of these other guys, Hendricks, you don't have to be, you know, the Mr. Football Scout of the world to understand that these guys are pretty good football players. That's same with that offensive line.
Artie, what I've always said is that you don't have to have 20 years of experience to pick out a guy like Brennan Clay, but you better be recruiting some of those, because even an idiot like me can find those guys and know they're pretty good football players.
Bad snap, and now Pete Thomas just has to fall on it. It's your new quarterback out there. Pete Thomas, 6'5", 220 pounds, out of California. What do we know about him, Scott?
He's a big kid, and we had him ranked pretty high for a guy that didn't have a lot of the big offers. A lot of the California kids like Nick Montana and Austin Hinder, again, were getting offers way before him, but it was a guy that we really liked, his physical ability. If you look at a 6'5" quarterback that's ripped up like a tight end or a linebacker, smart, hardworking, nice mechanics, good arm, what's not to like? So I think Colorado State got a steal, and he'll be one of those guys that just ends up lighting up the conference, and they say, how did he get away from UCLA, Cal, USC down the line?
Thomas, little draw play here, and they sniff it out, going nowhere. Good job up front.
You know, Thomas is, going back to him for a second here, we gave an award the other day at our assembly, the Offense, Defense, CCN, College Coaches Network, Scholar Athlete of the Year. And we gave it to him because he's almost a 4.0 student.
That's great.
Very articulate. And one of the reasons, guys, he's going to Colorado State, though, is the coach there, Fairchild. Coach Fairchild is a spread option guy or spread wide open offense guy. And he really wants to get coached by him. Fairchild was in the National Football League for a long time.
Now, you'll see here, Artie, one of the rules is you can't try to block this. They're going to kick it away.
There's no blocking, and both teams are doing the exact same thing in the kicking game and in the returns. I think it's a good thing to do, too.
Into the end zone, and it'll be 1st and 10 on the 20 when we come back. Offense-Defense Bowl from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina tonight on Fox College Sports. We happy, fellas?
A little rhythm, you know?
Yeah, it's good.
Our coaches are on cameras watching.
One of the things I wanted to say when you're talking about you can't teach that, I say one of my recruitisms is running backs are born, linemen are built.
Where's Roots Chris? Is that close? Here? Oh, really?
Stay in the height. Yeah. Tough to get out of Myrtle Beach after 8.
Not even luck, yeah.
Where's TJ going?
Is we hurt?
Scott.
You with the satellite feed?
Who's QB this time? You guys see that?
Excuse me. Scott, I see something here.
Offense, defense, All-American Bowl, and it's 7-0. The West leading the East with just under 4 minutes to play in our first quarter. If you call yourself a college sports fan, then you have to get FCS. With over 900 live NCAA events year-round and exclusive club sports coverage. FCS, the place where college never ends. And the number to call to get it, 1-877 to get FCS, or online at foxcollegesports.com. We had exclusive coverage of the Paradise Jam and Big 12 football this year. New quarterback is in for the East, and that's DJ Clower, I believe.
Now, Clower's a guy that came to our camps during the year, ended up in a select camp, came to the elite camp, and from the elite camp, we invited him to play in the offense, defense, All-American Bowl.
Out of Florida, he's undecided. Scott, what have you learned about him this week?
Well, I think he's better than he's being recruited. He's one of those guys that should be getting some offers and can play D1 and has been one of the more consistent quarterbacks throwing the ball, and he's the best athlete of the bunch.
Well, he's listed on our chart as an athlete, you know. Yeah. So you want to put him in the slot? Do you want to use him as a receiver? Do you want to use him at a quarterback position?
We were going to use him. They were using him a little bit this week at a safety position.
That's what I see.
So, yeah, he is a versatile guy. He's a nice young man, like I said, a wonderful family. And as you see Coach Hudson. Now, Ron Hudson coached him at the elite camp this year, so they had a previous relationship coming into the game.
It was Priester with the carry. First time we've seen him tonight. Gerald Priester out of Allendale, South Carolina.
Now, Dan already mentioned that there's one trick play allowed. I think one guy to keep an eye on might be number 9, Blake Sims, who threw for about 6,000 yards at Gainesville High School over his career and is playing wide receiver in this game, so he might be involved in a little trickery.
And the reason he's playing wide receiver, because that's what he's going to play when he goes to college.
Here's a draw play, and he's tripped up short of the first down marker. That was Clower again, calling his own number, and it looks like the East left to punt it away. So deep in their own territory, they'll have to kick it away, and we'll see Jordan Butler for the first time.
Now, Mike Stock is a special teams coach for the East. He's got them gathered around there. They're going to substitute some different personnel to punt the ball. The normal defense will stay on the field for the West and do the punt return part of it.
Joe Powell back to receive at Skyline High School in Dallas, Texas. Mentioned that he is headed to Oklahoma to play for the Sooners, and he is standing on his own 27-yard line. This will be a low kick, and Powell will let it roll. It takes an east bounce all the way down inside the 25 and taken at the 23 and touched there with 1:22 to play.
This field, Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium, is 2 years old. Beautiful facility, excellent scoreboard, and a very good PA system.
And you need that when you're talking here at the offense-defense poll.
You better believe it. Yeah, I need that too, a little blanket.
You need to have a little people, have the people know about your sponsorships here.
Yeah, no, it was a good, and you know what? It was a good week this week. You know, a lot of events for the kids to do, and unfortunately, today's the coldest day we've had. The sun was shining. It was just gorgeous yesterday, and gorgeous, I believe, it was on Wednesday.
I was curious if that would change the offenses and what they'd like to do, because it is a little windy here today, too.
Yeah. Case McCoy, the younger brother of Colt McCoy, in a quarterback.
And he is headed to Texas.
He's really a good guy and a good kid. He did some radio stuff for us down here this week and is very well spoken. And he's kind of what they call a football junkie. You know, he knows everything about football, is following football. He's not only a really good player, he's a big fan of the game of football.
And his brother, as we mentioned in the open, a big game upcoming against Alabama.
And Case will be flying out of here on Monday with his parents to go to that game.
That's great. So he'll work out of the shotgun here with 2 in the backfield along with him. He'll stay on the ground. Now that is going to be an oddity right there when you got a kid that's going to Texas handing off to another one going to Florida. Or excuse me, Oklahoma.
Yeah. You know what, though? It's like we've told the kids all week, and we did a lot of things together with the coaches and the kids. Hey, these are memories and new friendships and new relationships you're going to have and you're going to make here, and you're just going to keep for the rest of your lives.
This should be the final play of this first quarter. If they keep it on the ground, we'll see. It's 3rd down and 9.
They'll throw it.
Oh, yeah. Showing some zip there, and it was almost picked off. Right over the middle and deflected up front. Also a chance to pick it off. And that would have been Justin Parker, the linebacker.
Justin Parker is an interesting guy. He's being very highly recruited. I believe it's down between South Carolina and Clemson. He's a good football player.
First quarter in the books. Offense-Defense Bowl on Fox College Sports. This game's moving.
You okay with everything, AJ?
A lot of running.
Yeah.
The West, I think they're a little nervous to throw the ball in this wind and cold.
Yeah. No. Trust me. They got big guys playing the offensive line. They got pretty good running backs.
Oh, man.
Now, Daquan Jones, talking all week, it's hard to pick out one guy on the defensive line for the East because they've been so good. Daquan Jones made 2 of the tackles. He's heading to Penn State.
The official sponsor of offense and defense. More information, go to 10. Make sure your son is protected.
Got to watch LSU for Parker. If he leaves the state, he could be a Tiger.
After the kick.
Badger Sports. Feel like an All-American in Badger Sports. ESPN Radio, #1 network in Myrtle Beach. Gatorade, it's mandatory on every sideline. And the U.S. Marine, the few, the proud, the bold. If you're looking for gloves, go to Cutler. It gives you that work-like stickum on your hand.
Offense-Defense Bowl from Chile, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It'll be 4th down and 9, and the West will have to punt it away. In just a moment, we'll hear from Mr. McCoy, who's headed to Texas, and of course his brother playing for the national championship against Alabama. Kick is away. Good kick.
Watch out.
And a tackle made at the 41, and a short return that time by Adrian Coxon. And let's check in with Sam Steele.
Case, first, can you tell the guys upstairs it's not chilly, it's cold? Can you just tell them that?
It's freezing cold. It's not like this in Texas at all.
Okay, so for everybody that's at home in Texas, at UT, wondering how practice has been this week, what you've been working on, what can you tell them?
Oh, they've been a lot of fun. Not only have they just been with all the guys and everything, we've been building relationships, and it's been exciting meeting guys and that I'm going to play with, against, and in all different parts of the world. I mean, the nation. So it's been fun, but also.
We got a guy from Brussels here. That's
do
true.
We really? Okay. Well, anyways, but our coaches are great too. They have so much NFL experience and college experience, so we're all learning a lot while we're having fun.
You told me they were working with you, getting you under center, something you hadn't been doing a lot. Do you feel like you're getting better at that?
Yes, I really do. We've taken some of it off for this game and the weather, but like you said, I've learned a lot from coming out from under the center, and I'm going to have to be able to do that in Texas.
You also told me that 4 of your O-linemen are going to the Sooners. So you think if they let somebody through, they did it on purpose?
Well, I hope not. I've been trying to be really nice to them, but no, we have 8 commits to OU going on our team that are going to OU, so that's been exciting watching them communicate and get to know each other and build a relationship already.
And then you'll kill them next year, right?
Yes.
All right, you're going to Pasadena next week. What are your expectations? Do you have a prediction for this game?
My expectations are to be way warmer there than it is here, but no.
That's all that matters right now.
Right now, I need to get my hands warm.
All right, we'll let you get out there. Thanks, Case.
Thank you.
Back out to you guys.
All right, Sam, thank you. And that's Mustafa Green. And the man that handed it off, the young man, has a name of Favre, and he is a quarterback. And yes, that is a relationship there with Brett Favre, isn't it?
He's the nephew, and I tell you, he's got some unbelievable statistics. As we take a look at Green, get around the corner, gets leveled at the end. That's why you never stop running by Shaq Richardson. Now, going back to Favre, his statistics are off the charts. Over 5,000 passing yards this year, over 1,000 rushing yards. He was responsible, guys, for 81 touchdowns. That's amazing, throwing or running. He's a good, solid player.
5'11", nearly 200 pounds. They picked up the first down, and people are wondering, Scott, Dylan Favre, where's he headed?
Well, he's got to get some offers. I think he's waiting on one for possibly Mississippi State. Mississippi State was hoping to get Cam Newton, who signed with Auburn out of junior college, and that might be enough for Dylan Favre to get his offer, and he could end up there. I know that Southern Miss had offered him earlier, so it could be down between those two schools, but if Mississippi State offers, I think he's going to be a Bulldog.
Yeah, that's the impression I got from him, too. And the other thing about him, we gave him the other day at our awards assembly the Offense, Defense, Sports National Player of the Year, both offensively and defensively. So statistically and what he's meant to his high school football team has just been extraordinary.
A high snap, Favre spins out of trouble, then he's hit hard, and he'll lose a yard or two to net play, and that's David Wilkerson out of Danville, California, with the stop.
He's one of my neighbors. I live in Walnut Creek, California, and him and his parents are obviously joining us this week. Dad played at the University of California. He's a tough guy. Could have went to a lot of schools, chose to stay at home with the Golden Bears. I like him because he's a rugged guy to me. He'll step up. He'll fill the hole. He's a big, strong guy that's going to get even bigger. He's about 240. He'll end up playing at about 250 before he's done. A nose for the football, a good lateral shuffler.
What schools were looking at him?
He was looking at everybody, and then he ended up with Cal, and all three linebackers on this West team are fairly well developed already. Hayes Pollard, Zach Stout, and Dave Wilkerson are guys that you don't necessarily have to worry about putting weight on. They're ready to play right away with their size.
It's another low snap. Favre avoids the pressure, still on his feet, and finally tripped up at the 46.
He was the guy
probably saved the first down on that too.
Excuse me, Dan. He was the guy that was having a problem this week. We were talking about being under the center because I guess in his high school, 90% of the time he was in some type of gun. So he got adjusted a little bit to getting his hands underneath the center, but he is much more comfortable, as you can see there, in the shotgun.
And I think, Scott, that's probably a question for you is as you look at some of these kids that put up big numbers, the spread offense is becoming more popular even in the high school games. So if you're not a spread offense type team in college, you might get a different read on a quarterback.
Well, and you don't necessarily look at statistics either. It's about it's not about production when you're talking about recruiting. It's more about potential, and you're hoping that the potential is also productive. But a guy, if Dylan Favre was 6'3", 6'4", he could pick his school, whereas he's waiting on offers now, despite the fact that he amassed 80 touchdowns this year.
Sure. 11:17 to go in our first half of play. The Offense-Defense Bowl on Fox College Sports from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Back with more in a moment.
Number 14, Case McCoy, quarterback for the West.
Nice fill by Shaq Richardson, just a good, solid football player. Saved that run on Favre. Shaq's had a good week.
OBU campers are also selected from our cast for the OBU All-American team. BY.
Remember all the Nate Newton commercials we saw last year?
Yeah, where are they?
I don't know. I'm missing Nate.
Out. That was amateur hour.
Like to make a shout out to the College Coaches Network, the presenting sponsor of the Offense Defense All-American. CNN is the player's best friend.
CCN.
CNN.
He's saying
College
CNN.
Coaches Network.
Don't tell her, Ben. Okay, right now it's CCN, not CNN. Okay? I don't know. He's downstairs. He's a PA announcer. It's CCN, not CNN.
7-0 West over the East. Hey, college sports fans, get exclusive access to the latest from FCS by being a fan of Fox College Sports on Facebook. For the latest clips, news, and behind-the-scenes pictures from all of our FCS events, log on to Facebook right now. Artie Gigantino, Scott Kennedy, Dan McLaughlin, Sam Steele with you. And there's a look at McCoy, who will again quarterback this West team. Case McCoy, he is 6'2" and 185 pounds, headed to Texas. Play action, trying to dump it to his tight end that time, Alex Smith, who was out of Westchester, Ohio. Big kid, too.
Big guy, 6'5", about 240 pounds. Missed a couple days of practice because of a back injury, but he's fine now. He's headed to the University of North Carolina, and a real pleasant young man to be around. Always has yes sir, no sir, mister, thank you. He's a special guy.
How was Butch Davis done in the recruiting wars, guys?
Butch Davis, with his NFL background and the beautiful facilities at Chapel Hill, has done a great job. And some of their best recruiting this year has been at their junior class on their current team. So Marvin Austin coming back, Greg Little coming back. They're going to try and make a run at that ACC crown, maybe even more next year with the team that they've recruited back to their own team.
And this will bring up about a 3rd and 3 now.
I thought that was a good hire when they hired Butch Davis there. You know, again, his NFL, like you said, his NFL background. You see Clay again here, getting up the ball, getting up the field. Good tackle at the end. I'm surprised. You know, you mentioned this off air. I am surprised that they're trying to run the ball so much tonight, because they winged it all week during practice.
And again, we should remind folks it is cold here in Myrtle Beach. Also pretty windy at the start of play and our opening kickoff, so that might have something to do with it.
You see the coaches in all these hooded outfits. They were donated to us by Badger Sports. They also gave each and every individual player a sweatsuit like that, amongst other things. So we're very thankful to Badger Sportswear.
Play action again, and this will be very close to the first down marker, and I believe he got it as the clock is running just over 10 minutes to go in our first half of play, and that was Parks.
Another tackle by Parker, who's been active today. Was good in pass coverage, breaking up a pass, and then came from the backside to make that tackle. So one of the highest rated and highest committed uncommitted players we have here. Choosing between Clemson, South Carolina, LSU, and Georgia Tech is what he told me just before kickoff.
Yeah, he gets around too. He's an active guy, can move. And again, he'll stay in the state of South Carolina somewhere, I believe.
Under 10 minutes to go. McCoy will work from the shotgun, and a poor snap. Now he kicks it and has to fall on it at about the 7-yard line. We've seen that a few times on both sides.
Coaches were really worried about that because some centers don't have any experience in the shotgun, and that was the case here a little bit this week. Both the offensive line coaches, Tom Lavad on the west, Jim Erkenbeck on the east, spent a lot of time due diligence trying to get that thing squared away.
And it's one of the hardest positions to fill for an all-star game, because typically the best offensive lineman is going to play left tackle for his high school team. So you usually have a team full of left tackles trying to come together to play 5 different positions.
I tell you what, though, in our selection of these players, we kind of knew that, but we targeted centers. And again, did we get 5 centers? No, but we did try to target them.
McCoy throws, catch made at the 17-yard line. And with that catch, big target, another tight end, Caleb Southworth. He is 6'5", 220 pounds.
And something about him now, he's going to Central Michigan. He's the guy that was also an offense-defense camper, came to our elite camp. Coach Hudson and Coach Walsh at the elite camp really liked him, and we selected him to play in this game. He's a guy that can get up to about 240 pounds someday, because he's only about 220, and he not even look that. He looks like a forward in basketball, you know, but good hands, precision route running, and fairly tough.
This is 3rd and long, 3rd and 16. Underneath they go. They've got the first down, it looks like, on a draw play that time. Boy, he hits the hole hard, and that's Parks.
He's got a nose to go north and south. Watch him here. He's not going to jitter step here. He's just going to take it, and he's going to get going. And you know what I liked about that? At the end, he put both hands on the ball to protect it, because he knew he was going to get hit. Watch him again here. For you young people out there watching it, that's the way to get tackled, if there is a good way to get tackled. You know, protecting the football.
So on 3rd and 16, they converted to a first down. Under 8 minutes to go, first half. It'll be 1st and 10, and Parks so far has been one of the more electrifying players we've seen in this first half of play. It's been fun to watch. Any guy that's 5'7" out there and letting it rip, it's fun to watch in an all-star game.
Who's the little guy that used to play for the San Diego Chargers? Remember him, the little guy?
Darren Sproles is still there, and he didn't come
Sproles. He was like Sproles too. I mean, that's who he looks like. And you know, and I'll tell you, I mentioned this before. A defender has a hard time seeing him. because he gets lost behind those big old offensive linemen all the time, and I think that's what's happening here. See Coach Rich Solomon there to our right. Solomon coached at with the Minnesota Vikings and the Arizona Cardinals with Denny Green, 12 years in the National Football League.
Dan, I know we like to talk about a look at the future. Well, you can look at two teammates lining up side by side at defensive tackle. Denzel McCoy and Sean Green both headed to Georgia Tech. So just change the color on the uniform and fast forward a couple years, and that's what you're going to see.
To the outside, and another first down picked up. Boy, he's got great speed, and that's Brennan Clay. Who is the quickest guy that you saw this week?
I don't know. It might be Clay. It might be Clay. Watch him here. This is quickness now, as you said. He gets to the corner in a hurry, and that's what you're looking for. I'll tell you put the defense back on its heels with a guy like that trying to get on the corner. I like the scheme. I like the play, but I love the fact that this guy's got the quicks to make it happen right away on the perimeter.
And Dan, I might answer your question by saying corner Darius Robinson for the East and return man wide receiver Joseph Powell for the West, number 7. For straight speed, I'd still probably go Kenny Stills and then Darius Robinson. Kenny Stills, wide receiver, number 4 from San Diego, going to Oklahoma.
Darius Robinson, one of the captains, selected by his teammates.
Had a great week of practice. One of those guys going to Clemson that's really helped his stock this week, showing he's more than just a track guy. He's been a great corner, just a good break on the ball. A lot of those track guys, those fast guys, can't change directions as well as you'd like. He's not one of those guys. He's a football player that happens to run track.
TJ Stripling there coming off the corner. You're going to see him here at the bottom of your screen. Comes underneath the tight end. Just doesn't wrap up good enough, but it was a good penetration by him. He's going to the University of Georgia. He's going to be either an outside back or a defensive end. Real impressive guy. Again, needs to put on a few pounds, but he's an impressive guy in terms of getting up the field and being able to cover grass or cover turf.
2nd down and 5. And the West driving again. They started this drive deep in their own territory. They converted that 3rd and 16. They pick up another first down and then some. This should be a touchdown. He'll take that all the way in, and they add to it. Boy, he is something else, guys. Kevin Parks, 5'7", and fun to watch.
I know who might be getting the MVP of this game. He gets up the field. He was the offensive player of the year, and he's certainly looking at here. And this is determination by him. This is also, without overusing the word quickness, notice how he protects the ball when he gets through the offensive line. He can break tackles, and he can run away from defenders who are also pretty fast. That's just straight ahead football.
Again, I talk about his base, and I mentioned it
hard
earlier.
to knock down. He's a hard guy to knock down.
Well, my favorite attribute of the elite running backs is balance, because I think you're more valuable being able to break a tackle, because you're not going to outrun a lot of guys on the next level if you can't break that first level of tackle. If you're a 4'6" guy and you can break a tackle, by the time those 4'4" DBs can change directions, you're gone, and that's what just happened with Parks.
But they'll attempt the extra point to make it 14-0. 5:23 to go first half. You're watching the Offense-Defense Bowl on Fox College Sports.
Offense-Defense Sports, been in business for some 42 years, runs football camps around the country during the month of June and July. They're being presented tonight by the College Coaches Network, a recruiting service that will serve your family and your son, your daughter in many, many ways in terms of introduction to universities.
Already very quickly, because after this we'll take a break. A lot of families out there watching are saying, wait a minute, how do I get my son involved with offense defense? How do you do it?
Yeah, 2 ways. Go to o-d.com on our wonderful website, or you can give the office a call. We'll send you a brochure. We'll send you information at area code 843-903-1888. o-d.com.
Extra point right down the middle on a gorgeous night in Myrtle Beach. Sun is setting, but it is cold. And the West, the team in red tonight. Thanks to this young man, 5'7", they're having some fun. 14-0 after this run.
If your goal is to play college football, contact CCN.
There, he got it.
Another special thank you for the people that had the biggest job in Myrtle Beach this week. That was Speed the King, King Kong Sushi, Chili's, the Spring House Restaurant.
Sushi.
Medieval Times.
How much sushi do you have to feed these kids?
Some coaches.
The Tunnel Lounge, because the big dogs got to eat.
So where do you guys go at night, Artie? Where you guys been going?
You know what? We said we had a different activity each night for the coaches.
Did you?
Yeah, we went to Senior Frogs one night. We went to Overtime Sports Pub one night. One night we had CCN hosted us. It's a sensational restaurant. And then last night we took them to Ruth Chris.
Nice.
Yeah, coaches had a pretty good week.
That's how you get them to come back.
It's cold.
You got the window seat.
Mm-hmm.
Addison to kick off for the West.
Offense, defense, All-American Bowl, 14-0 the West over the East, presented by CCN. Scott Kennedy, Artie Gigantino, Sam Steele, Dan McLaughlin with you. Cold night here at Myrtle Beach, and those are some of the young kids that had a chance to partake in their own championship games, if you want to call them that, earlier today.
And it was really cool, though, you know, 7 and 8 year olds playing in an all-star game in Myrtle Beach. Boy, I wish we had enough time to bring some of those games to the audiences around the country.
It's fielded at the 10. Big lane. To the outside he'll go. And steps out of bounds at the 35-yard line. That was returned by Adrian Coxon. And let's check in with Sam Steele. Sam.
Guys, I found some superstars on the sidelines. They played today in the Youth All-American Bowl. I'm here with Lane Moore, Tristan Morgan, and Dante Vaughn. Guys, how'd you do today?
We did pretty good. We beat East 14-0. Yeah.
How'd you do up here?
No.
How'd you do?
I did great. I caught a few catches and I did good.
Who do you like out here? You saw some guys that are pretty good, huh?
Dylan Farr's my favorite.
Yeah, not a bad name to have. By the way, guys, you're all quarterbacks, and just so you know, it's true what people tell you. Ladies love the quarterback, so stick at that position no matter what they tell you, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll send it back out to you guys.
All right, Sam, thanks. Looked to be a botched snap. Watch out. And he maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. Not sure if that was a bad snap or he just dropped it.
Well, we'll find out right here. I believe he just dropped it. Okay.
You're right.
I never blame things on the quarterback. I always blame it on the center. He's got to get the ball up there.
It's Andrew Hendricks, the Notre Dame recruit, who's back in there and quarterbacking the East.
You see, one of the problems, Dan and Scott, is the fact that when you have 3 quarterbacks playing in the game, it's hard for one of them to get into a zone. It's hard for one of them to get into a rhythm. And that's what happens when you drop snaps like that. You know, they're not in the proper rhythm. Little confusion here on the